Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show. Here we go.
On to our last section of the show. How you feeling at this point of the show right here? You all right, Moose? You having fun?
I'm hoping we're talking a lot more. I'm a little upset that we're wrapping this up. It's like one more segment. Boss, throw 4 more out there. Like this is.
Hey, we're gonna leave them a little room to tap into your show during the year so they can get some of that good stuff, and to tap into us during the year so they can get some of that good stuff too. But let's go over to Bang or Bust. Now, Bang or Bust has to do with coaches who are returning 8+ players on offense and 8+ players on defense. So first up, Texas A&M, first year for Mike Elko. He jumps in here right in the heat of the passion right here. 9 on offense, 9 on defense. Bang or bust?
Bang. Big time bang. You're giving this guy returning SEC players on both sides of the ball? The dude won at Duke. We talked about it already. Like, Duke is not a football school. Like, that is a basketball powerhouse. And he got Duke into the top 25? This is a big time bang. That guy's got defensive line written all over him. He's got an offensive line written all over him. That guy's going to figure it out. It's just a matter of how consistent is that team going to be. But this is a bang for me.
I love it. I love it. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, Lane Kiffin. Mr. Transfer Portal has built this year in and year out. Went 11-2 last year in his 5th year here at Ole Miss, and he's returning 10 on offense, 10 on defense. What can Lane Kiffin do with an offense returning 10 starters? Bang or bust?
I don't know. I don't know about him. No, I shout out to Wine Time. Wine Time is, I think he's all over Ole Miss, and that might be a spoiler for your season total show. But there's something about Lane Kiffin that just gets me like concerned. All right, here's a question for you. I'm going to flip it back on you. All right, the interviewer now flipping it.
There we go. Let's go. I'm here for it.
Would you be surprised if Kiffin got a big ego, had an upset, and then did the exact same thing later in the year?
Absolutely, because I remember the Lane Kiffin of USC, who was a wrecking ball. And, sometimes it's in you and not on you. And you carry those type of attributes everywhere you go. I mean, he's the transfer portal king. He's dealing with multiple personalities coming from all kinds of different backgrounds and all coming at one. The only good thing to this whole 10 thing is having the same players for multiple years, but it's not like he had them since they were redshirt freshmen. He probably had them since they were another team's headache, and they transferred, a lot of them, right? Some of them were really good, but they transferred over to him as somebody else's headache. He took them, made the best out of them. Now he gets them for one more shot. But I don't know. Lane Kiffin is off. If we could only know what's going on off field, we'd have all the answers.
Yeah, doesn't he feel like he could have that ego that just gets out of control and he just starts doing things? You're just like, what the hell? What the hell is Coach Kiffin doing over here? Like, I could just see that. So not going to call him a bang. I'm not going to call him a bust, because how could you be a bust with all those returners and you have Jackson Dart coming back at quarterback? But I told Wine Time, there's something about him that just makes me concerned, and why I'm not taking their win total over, because it just feels like they could go to Florida and lose. They could have an upset loss mixed in there and then a second one because they were looking forward to an opponent. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. I respect what he's got over there, but I don't really respect him too much.
I feel you 100%. I feel that, anything short of hitting that season win total is a bust. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't be a bang, nothing going anything lower than that. But let's keep it moving into the next one. This one, a lot of people have mixed thoughts about this team too, and I don't know. Here we go. Mark Stoops over here, 12th year, Kentucky, every year he looks like he gives us a wink that he's getting ready to attack, but then he ends up with a 7-6 record last year, and we thought great of him coming out the gate last year. But this year, 8 on offense, 10 on defense, banger bust on Mark Stoops.
Yeah, I'm probably going to lean bust. I mean, the years that when he had Levis and he had C-Rod, those were the teams that you're like, all right, let's see what he does. And he still was like, they're good, they were better, but it wasn't to the point where you just go, that was the step I thought they were going to take. Mad respect for Stoops as a coach. Mad respect. To survive in the SEC that long is impressive. But I don't see this as the team that is going to be that Stoops team that takes the step forward. I think this is going to be a classic Stoops team, a team that plays small ball. They, get those first downs, move the chain, take clock. But I don't see this as a team that's going to go significantly above 500. I could see another 7-6, maybe 8-5, but I don't see anything above that. And that's right where their win total is. So that's the odds makers are kind of seeing the same thing. And they're basically saying either, just like you alluded to, either you believe this team is going to take the next step or you don't. And I can see why a lot of people are split on this. I don't really have much of a thought on it. I think they're right there. If they're able to do things correctly, if they're able to take care of the ball, if they're able to stop teams on third down, which last year was an issue at times, I don't really lean one way or the other, but I have mad respect to Stoops over there. So that's kind of all I got with him.
There we go. No call on the banger bust. We lucky we're not drinking. You would have had to take a shot for that. But next up, banger bust. Dan Lanning, 12-2 last year. Third year here. I'm high on third-year coaches. Everyone knows this. And third year here, having 8 on offense, 9 on defense is showing that you're building this organization in the right direction. And he's all over the news and mentioning everything in success for this year. So he's leaning toward the bang side. Banger bust right here for Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks.
It's got to be a bang, right? I mean, the amount of talent he has. So I'm not going to do the no play. I'm not going to do it 2 times to you, Big Boss. I will say it's a bang based on the fact that he's got all that talent. He brings in Dylan Gabriel, and it looks like a team that could be a national title contender. And if you were talking about a program that is a national title contender, how's that not a bang? So I definitely lean bang on here. It's Oregon, different conference. I could see some shenanigans, but this team is so talented. They got so many weapons on both sides of the ball. So I'm going to go bang here.
It would be a really disappointing if this team doesn't end up with a bang. On top of the conference change, he comes from the type of athletes that they're going to have on the field in the Big Ten. So this was all a part of the whole, scheme of things happening with the Pac-12 merger over into the Big Ten. So, yeah, has to be a bang right there. I agree 100%. Now, this one right here is kind of tricky because this guy goes way back, one of the oldest coaches in college football. But Kirk Ferentz, 26 years at Iowa. This year, he's returning 10 on offense, which he always need because his offense always just be plain potato salad, and 8 on defense, on a defense that ranks high among all the teams in the nation on defense. Banger bust in this one right here for Iowa.
Offense potato salad, no mayo, like awful. Yeah. Big time bang though. Big time bang. Really believe in Iowa this year. That defense. I mean, yeah, they lost one of the best DBs in the nation, and that's going to hurt a little bit, but they're returning most of that defense, and that defense last year was outstanding. No surprise, Kirk Ferentz is just one of the best defensive guys in college football, but that offense might actually be pretty decent. It's just a question mark about how productive will they be. I don't think they need to be that productive. I could easily see them being a playoff team, maybe getting an upset in the little playoff tournament. I don't think they're a national title team. I don't really think they're that good. But if we're talking playoffs for an Iowa team that has essentially kind of missed out, they've gone to some championship games but have gotten blown out in them, I got this as a bang, man. I really like Iowa, though. I'm a little partial. I got some stakes in Iowa this year.
Yeah, you got to have bang on Iowa especially when they reach this type of point on offense, because they're always about 5 to 6 or 7 great throws. Like they get some great throws coming down the stretch and win a lot more games, than the 1 or 2 that they lose for every year. But any team such as Iowa, Wyoming, and many others, that you have to rearrange how you do things because of the way that they do things. So they bring something to the table. A lot of these teams coming from the Pac-12, if they have to run up against those guys, they won't even have a clue. They've never been in the dogfight like they're going to put them in. And please don't let the weather help them out even more. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Bang on Iowa. Next up, Matt Rule, a guy we really truly respect in his second year at Nebraska, a team that they just praying and hoping and wishing they could get back to who they were once before, and they haven't been able to make it there. But he gets there last year, 5-7, but he looked hopeful in a lot of those games. This year, he's getting 9 on offense, 9 on defense, and they are reorganizing the conference. Where does Matt Rule and this team gonna land on your map?
I
Banger
like
bus.
Nebraska. I like Nebraska this year. And Matt Rule, I think, is a fantastic coach. I think they did him dirty out there in Carolina. They brought him in on a crap organization with really crappy players around him. And like, how'd you not be successful with all this crap we gave you? And now he goes back to Nebraska, and his second year, maybe a little ambitious because we've already talked about it a few times. That third year seems to be the magical year. But I like Nebraska. I think they're going the right direction. I think we saw some things at the end of last year where they started being really competitive. You look at those games against Illinois last year where they really took them to them. They went against Wisconsin and only lost by 7, lost by 3 at Iowa towards the end of the year. They had a lot of close losses, and that's one of the main factors. If you're looking at where are those improvements going to happen, you want to see the teams that lost close games. Because when you see teams that lost close games the year before return most of their guys, they learn how to win. They learn how to win. And I think that's what's going to happen here in Nebraska. So they got some close losses last year. I believe they were top 10 in net close losses. And now you're returning most of those guys. Those are signs pointing up. And I like Nebraska this year. I have a stake in them as well. Not as much as Iowa, but I do have a stake in Nebraska this year. So I'm gonna buy it. I'm buying it.
Big bang over here for
bang. My bad. Big bang.
Big bang. Next up, one I kind of feel the same way you feel about that one is how I feel about this guy right here. Matt Campbell, 7-6 last year, 9th year here, and he's another coach with those close losses. But he's getting 10 back on offense and 9 on defense, and he's been able to work the controls from both angles whenever he needed. So I think this could be a big year for Matt Campbell. Banger bust on this one for you, Moose.
Yeah, bang. Yeah, I'm with you on that. The only thing is Campbell's got to tone it down a little bit with his in-game stuff. I mean, how many times do you have to see other coaches like doing, Coach Campbell, get off the field. Come on, get off the field. Because he's just screaming at a ref. Like, he's got to tone that down a little bit. I mean, I get football is kind of the place for that over other sports. But it doesn't help like when you get yourself all amped up, riled up, and then have to make important decisions. I mean, I'm not sure about you, but I don't make great decisions when I get all amped up and I'm on, my adrenaline's pumping. But that defense last year was very good, and they're returning most of those guys. That offense looked like it was figuring things out. It was night and day from their game at Eastern Michigan last year where they couldn't score at all against, granted, it was a decent Eastern Michigan defense, but I am using the rubric. Sorry to throw that teacher stuff in. Couldn't help it, Big Boss. That rubric of what a good defense is in the MAC versus what good defenses are basically anywhere else. And the fact that they got shut out there is kind of like, this might be difficult. But they started to figure some things out. So I got bang for Iowa State, very similar to Iowa. I don't have as much of a stake in them, but I do like Iowa State. I am on them this year, and I think that they're going to be productive. I think they can be a legit contender this year.
Hey, they started banging in Little Rock, Arkansas, and now they banging in Iowa. Let's go, Iowa and Iowa State. Last one right here for my man, MooseMoneyBets. Has been a great time. I thought we could do this a little faster, but we enjoyed ourselves, and we got down here in a nice speed of time as well. But this is our last one right here. Let's go over this one. Dave Aranza, 5th year here at Baylor. And he's getting 10 on offense, 9 on defense. This is where you want to be, because after this, you could be headed straight over to the hot seat, Dave. But Baker bust for this one, Moose.
Yeah, that seat's pretty hot. I kind of think this might be a little bit of a bust. I know he's returning some guys, but that was a bad team last year. What was it, 3-9? I think 4-8. They were well under 500, and you're returning guys that there were not a ton of net close losses. They were blown out quite a bit. So you're returning guys that didn't really get into a lot of close games. I mean, I still remember that game against Texas where I think they had like 21.5 points. It's like, man, you're giving Baylor 21 points against an in-state rival. Like, no. And then Texas easily covered. So I think that Aranda's hot seat is going to get hotter and hotter as the year goes on. I think he's a decent coach. I think he's a good coach. I think he's had some really good moments over there in Baylor, but it also kind of seems like the league might have, at least specifically, the coaches in his conference have been able to kind of figure out what it is he likes to do. They do get a little bit better quarterback productivity this year. They don't have to rely on Shapen like they did last year. So I expect them to be a little bit better in that department, but I don't see Baylor doing much more than maybe a 500 year. And that's a bust to me.
Yeah, that one right there is a quick lesson to all the young cappers who's watching the show that love college football, but you watch too much ESPN and all that other stuff. But just because a team is returning a lot of players doesn't mean much if the players weren't good in the first place.
Right.
So, just getting another bag of stale Skittles is not going to make a rainbow. So that's just a lesson to be learned right there with Baylor. But it's been a great time, Moose, man. I'm looking forward to working with you a lot more this year. Especially with off-camera stuff, but recordings and stuff. But anyways, I come hang out with you guys too on some live shows. But definitely been my pleasure, man. You did more than I could even expect on how great you answered all of these spots right here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the people gonna comment about this show. Any other thing you want to tell the people? Let them know one more time where you're gonna be at, how to get in touch with you, who you are. Yeah, Moose didn't mention a lot of stuff, about his personal life that makes him a great capper, as well as an extraordinary human being for the stuff that he does. But yeah, shout out to my man Moose from San Diego. But let them know where you at, Moose.
You guys can find me on X, Twitter. I'm not sure what your vernacular is. Like I said earlier, MooseMoneyBets, right down there. It's written. I'm doing the morning preview show with my boy Davy Cab. That's going to be on Pub Sports Radio. I will be posting more of my picks on X, Twitter. So make sure you're checking in. Make sure you're following. But more than anything, boss, I love doing this. A little couple of tidbits that I kind of want to throw in there that I had notes for. Indiana looks like an interesting team with Signetti going over there from JMU. That's very interesting. So if you have anything on that, if you have any questions about that program, hit me up. And Bill O'Brien returning to college football at Boston College. Super interesting what might happen over there. A team that looked like it was getting much better at the end of the year. All those things, if you want to have any more information about that, you can follow me on X, Twitter, at MooseMoneyBets. And if you have anything that you want to do on a Saturday morning, boss, come on over. Love to have you. Get the OG crew back. Boss in the sauce coming on right here.
There it is there. And we are out of here for our first edition.